I see a superintendent here. Who I don't see are board members that hold his feet to the fire saying he's doing too much. Because also in that article, it says, superintendent faced the most flack from his board members. That's the issue. You have activist board members that put superintendents in tough place, force them to do things, keep things in their libraries, but they will never show up here. They'll never answer to the State Board of Education. They sent their superintendent here, and they sit at home, and then when he gets back, again, he's going to get beat up by the board. So, Commissioner, what do we do in this situation to hold those people accountable, those board members accountable, to say, you're doing too much. Don't take those books out of our libraries. What are we going to do to hold them accountable?
Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think it's an interesting situation. Again, I want to highlight and appreciate the partnership with Attorney General Uthmeier. And what we have been seeing here is the process that has been working through boards across the state. What we have seen that is new is that the Attorney General's office has created a parents' right office, right? And through that office, that statute that prevents harmful materials from falling in the hands of minors is not necessarily an education statute, right? I think what we've seen is a willingness of the Attorney General to enforce that statute. And what happens here is individuals could be held accountable, right? And so I don't want to give a legal opinion, but I want to say that from what I see is the Attorney General has the impetus and the opportunity to enforce that statute on individuals that violate it. And if that means that a school board member is complicit in violating that, then I think that the teeth of this come from the Attorney General's office, right? We have our process here where we have the duty under statute to make sure that there is a process and that it's conducted correctly. But the Attorney General's office has a different role when it comes to enforcing this statute. And so what I want to provide caution to those individuals that are either on a board and trying to put a pressure on a superintendent, or those individuals that are placing these items directly in the library, is that they could face penalty under law and prosecution by the Attorney General's office for violating the statute. So I want to highlight that because this is a new feature that has not been implemented before, and I think it needs to be clear to all of our school districts that this is in play and that actions that are taken by board members, they have to be very careful in what they're doing here, because I think that's where you're asking for is where are the teeth in the law. I think the teeth in the law are there, and I know we have a willing partner in the Attorney General and that office. And so that's why I want to lay out here, because the superintendent is clearly taking action. What you highlighted there, if that report is accurate, is that there are folks that are trying to impede the action he's trying to take, and I think that's clearly a problem. But I want to caution these individuals that they may face action from the Attorney General's office. So, again, and this has been said by board members already, but there are materials that are clearly pornographic. They're not in a gray area. They're not a classic book. They're not materials that may have a word or two.
We're not talking about Romeo and Juliet.
Right. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, unfortunately, materials we had to put in the letter. Unfortunately, materials the Attorney General put in the letter. It is clear as day to any rational human being, adult, that those materials don't belong anywhere near a child or anybody under the age of 18. And so to lay it out for you, I think that is the new landscape that I think that we've arrived at, and I think that's going to be very helpful to the process.
Yep. Thank you very much, Chair. And Commissioner, I appreciate that. And one thing I want to use as an example is every other district. It's every single person watching this board meeting, and I believe people are going to be watching. Hillsborough County, correct me if I'm wrong, Superintendent, 2022, 2023 was the single highest number of homeschoolers in the entire country. Is that correct?
I believe that's accurate.
We see enrollments declining across our state and our public schools, and we wonder why. And districts all over the state people want to point to vouchers and all these type of things. But as long as you continue to push pornographic materials in the libraries and continue to push these things on our kids, people will continue to pull their kids out of school. And they're going to find other avenues, and that's why we continue to be the leaders in school choice. Stop making it so easy. We don't want inappropriate things in the library. Take them out, and let's start educating the kids the right way. Thank you very much.